It's going to be an interesting matchup. Then we come to the main event. Fucking DDP versus KC.
There is some very intimidating footage that's coming out on Dricus and on Chimaev. Are you guys seeing that? This fight is big, guys.
Training for Khamzat 5 rounds would be such a fucking nightmare. You'd have to get fresh guys on you every 30 seconds.
In sports, there are certain matches that take up space in the minds of the audience more than others. For the UFC world, Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis is one of them, a war that is about to unleash any second. According to Sean O'Malley and Tim Welch, the fight could be a no-brainer if Khamzat is able to take hold of Dricus du Plessis in the first round, which is a high possibility. Tim Welch even went on to say that if Khamzat is able to take hold of Dricus and gets his hands attached under DPP's nose, the game is over for the South African fighter.
Khamzat is taking him down in that first round 110%.
Probably in the first 15 milliseconds.
Can he defend him off his neck? Can if Khamzat gets his hands attached underneath Dricus's nose, it's probably going to be over.
It was 2022. Wasn't that long ago, huh?
Yeah, it's like, dude, he's got to survive.
Adding to that, Sean and Tim recounted the fight between Kamaru Usman and Khamzat Chimaev, claiming that the former was close to taking the win against the Russian fighter, but lost at the last minute. That was an unpredictable win for Khamzat, but the odds are even higher for this upcoming fight.
Usman was on his way to beating Khamzat if he had 2 more rounds.
Allegedly.
He was, dude.
Khamzat
was
Usman was too.
But Usman's used to those 5 rounds. Yeah. He's been in 5-round wars before.
Moreover, Tim Welch, in his own YouTube channel, commented on how this would be the first time Khamzat Chimaev would go against an opponent for 5 rounds, having fought only 3-rounder fights before. This could prove to be a challenge for Chimaev, as he is going against someone who is well familiar with how the 5-rounder fights proceed. However, DDP has to survive the first round first.
But also, those fights were 3 rounds. He's taken on Dricus 5 rounds. Now, Dricus has been 5 rounds. He's used to going to those deep waters. He's went the distance twice with Sean Strickland, and he went to the 4th round with Izzy Adesanya, where he ended up finishing him. It's not rocket science. Can Dricus make it out of this first round? Khamzat is gonna take him down. I know it was a while ago, Darren Till. there's been strikers that took down Dricus. He's gonna get taken down, but can he keep him down, and can he defend him? If Khamzat gets his hands locked across below Dricus's nose, he's gonna get his face cranked off.
Furthermore, George St. Pierre and Coach Zahabi also gave their 2 cents about the fight, expressing their excitement and wondering who would survive the war of punches, wrestling, and grappling. According to Coach Zahabi, if Khamzat could control his emotions and not expel his energy, he could win. GSP, however, kept neutral, claiming that the fight could go either way.
I'm putting your feet to the fire and I'll pick one.
And it's hard for me, I can't.
Those are the best fights when you can't pick who's gonna win. When you look at red corner, you're like, that guy's an animal. You look at the blue corner, you're like, that guy's an animal. I have no idea what's gonna happen. I think this, George. Let me tell you what I think. If Chimaev controls his emotions, he's gonna win.
Could be, because emotion sometimes makes you spend too much energy. But on the other side, it's true. But Dricus du Plessis, I think he's very underrated. He's much better than what people give him credit for. So it could go both sides. Chimaev can go through, especially if he catch him with his very good inverted katagatame early on in the round. If he put him down and in a scramble when Dricus du Plessis tried to stand up, he got caught in an inverted katagatame. I can see that happen, but I can also see Dricus wearing down Chimaev and surviving, and in the later round winning the fight. So both scenarios are possible.
Additionally, Aaron Pico, who has been training alongside Khamzat for a while now in order to prepare the fighter for the match, claimed that Khamzat is as big of a beast as everyone believes him to be. The fighter has the grit to not lose, bringing to the fight a challenge both for his opponent and the audience who await his next move.
That was the first time I ever met Khamzat and Arman. I met him prior, but Khamzat, I've never met him before, and he's a beast. He works really, really hard, and we were pushing each other. He didn't want to lose, I didn't want to lose, so we had some really good sessions in the garage with Coach Cal, and yeah, it's just an honor to be around guys that are trying to be the best in the world, and it keeps you sharp.
Meanwhile, Chael Sonnen put forward the argument that Dricus du Plessis might be the best fighter in the UFC world, and he means pound for pound. Although not having evidence for it yet, Chael revealed that he has this information on good authority that we may be undermining exactly how great of a fighter du Plessis may be. And whose authority was it? Dricus himself.
And I have a suspicion, I can't prove it. I will be able to, I can't do it right now. I have a suspicion that Dricus du Plessis is the greatest fighter in the world. And I'm talking pound for pound. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm talking pound for pound. Now, I'm only as good as the information I have. And do you want to know who told me? I've got good authority that Dricus is the greatest fighter to ever live. I got great authority. I heard it from Dricus. Dricus is the one. He said, but every other claim that he's made, he's gone out and proven.
Moreover, Chael went on to say that this fight is the biggest fight for Dricus du Plessis, so it could potentially make or break the fighter's career. Saying that the South African fighter has proved everything he has claimed until now, Chael is positive that even his claims of being the best would come true in the UFC 319 fight.
A lot of people didn't think he was going to fight Chimaev, by the way. This is the fight, guys. I mean, I can feel this. This thing, from my perspective, and I work in this space, and I'm able to call it. This is the one. And this goes back. I mean, this fight was announced when the BMF was also announced. That was a huge deal in New Orleans. Dustin's final fight, Max is coming in, and the trilogy. I mean, this was a huge deal, but this was still the one. I mean, just for example, both venues were on sale at the same time. Tickets were higher for Dricus versus Chimaev. Just to use an example, they were more expensive.
On the other hand, the MVP, Michael Venom Paige, also made some exciting revelations about his feelings regarding the UFC 319 fight and its contenders. According to Michael, he does not understand how Dricus keeps on maintaining his win streak in fights with that kind of fighting style, claiming that such unconventional and messy punching could be expected from a new fighter, usually.
I just don't get why du Plessis has achieved so much, because and again I say it sounds like I keep saying it. I keep saying it, and I feel ultra disrespectful, and I don't mean to be. I'm just trying to be honest with how my feelings on when I watch him. He seems like, and I used an example earlier on, which I feel is fitting, and as you as a fighter will understand. Sometimes you can spar some, like new guys in the gym, just like they don't have the experience, but they hit you because they do some crazy stuff. They can wing their hands and just do random stuff, and it land because it's not a conventional punch or it's not a conventional kick. That's what du Plessis represents for me, but at the highest level. And his fights seem messy. Like there's nothing about him that says if I was to see him on the rise, I would ever pick him to say, okay, that's going to be the guy, the next guy that's going to be a world champion.
Continuing on, however, Michael claimed that if DDP manages to beat Khamzat Chimaev in the fight, the MVP would never underestimate the South African fighter again. Even though Michael still believes there's a chance Khamzat could win, having seen him in action in person, Michael has not crossed out the possibility of DDP crushing the Russian fighter in the ring.
Honest, I'm telling everybody, this will be the last time I bet against him. If he beats Khamzat, I'm never betting against him ever again. Like I'm literally ever again. I don't care if you lot are telling me he's going to be fighting John Jones. I'm going to be like, he's going to win. I don't care. I'm telling everyone this now. I'm edging Khamzat because I've had the privilege of getting to see him as well. But DDP just seems to know how to find his way to victory. So if he wins again, then never again. Never again.
Moreover, the experts and analysts at the Brady Bags show shared their 2 cents for the fight as well, throwing out valuable insight into the UFC world. According to them, even though everyone knows how good a fighter Dricus du Plessis is, we still are not aware of his real prowess. They even claimed that the previous victories bagged by Khamzat were quite close ones, making the fighter lose credibility.
I'm buying into the DDP hype a little bit. I like, as good as we know Khamzat is, I think people truly are not acknowledging how good DDP may be.
Yep.
And I don't know. Here's another thing about Khamzat, and this is strictly all facts. Like I said, when you really look at it, you really, really look at it. Because even what they was like, he ran through everybody, never looked. Like, you got to remember, I watched the Gilbert Burns fight. That's a really, really close fight, in my opinion. That I actually, even though I was betting on it, so I probably was a little emotional, I thought Gilbert might have won.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You look at the Kamaru fight. It's the same
2 more
thing.
rounds, it would have been.
Now the Kamaru one, that was different.
Two more rounds, it would have been a little. Could have been different.
In addition to his previous comments, Chael Sonnen could not help but comment on the utmost importance of this fight in the UFC world, claiming that this fight is a big deal. Commenting about how each of the fighters is preparing for the big day, Chael pointed out that Dricus du Plessis was able to go against 5 wrestlers at once for his training, while Chimaev went against Russia's best wrestler who weighs more than 200 pounds. Now that's how you work hard.
Beautiful, conditioned athletes, and there was 5 of them. Did you see this? You might want to go look at it. And yes, by the way, they would bury him in the desert somewhere, finally. Okay, but they worked a lot harder than they were thinking that they had to work. It really was like a demonstration of the athleticism of Dricus. Fine. Chimaev is wrestling with Zahabi. Now, if you guys don't know that name, I would understand it. It's amateur wrestling. But in the country of Russia, the #1 sport is wrestling. It is not soccer. I don't know that they have much basketball or baseball. It's not even gymnastics, which they do tremendous in. It's wrestling. If they're going to sell out an arena for a sporting event, it's wrestling. And their absolute best wrestler, and they say the best wrestler in the history of their country, is this guy called Zahabi.
Furthermore, Renato Moicano also shared his preference for the UFC 319 fight, claiming that he knows Gilbert is backing Dricus du Plessis, so he too would be rooting for the underdog for this match. Renato wants the South African fighter to win and believes that the fighter has it in him to take down Chimaev. Having had the experience of going against an opponent for 5 rounds, Dricus might have the upper hand.
I know Gilbert said Dricus du Plessis, and I will say Dricus du Plessis.
You're picking him too?
Yeah.
You want Dricus to win, or you think he's gonna win? Which one?
I want him to win.
Yeah.
Because
I know Gilbert's rooting for DDP, but do you think he's gonna pull it off?
DDP is my guy, but it's not that when I look at the fight, the question that everyone asks, everyone says the same thing. He kills me. Who do you think is gonna win? If he passed that first round? If he passed that first round?
Yeah.
Man, the question is he going to pass or no?
Yeah.
Because if he pass, right, he's gonna win.
5 rounds.
Moving on, Chris Weidman commented on how impossible it was to predict the fight since it could be anybody's game. However, he did claim that Khamzat's takedown of DDP would be legendary, basing it on the strategy the Russian fighter used every time while fighting against his opponents. Chris then predicted that if that does happen, DDP would have to try his level best to counter that takedown to ensure his win.
Honestly, when you see it's not a normal takedown. It's so fast. It could be from across the whole octagon. He'll just keep driving and trying to get it. If I'm DDP's coaches, it's not like evade these takedowns and be super paranoid and shut down your game and just try to run to get away in the first 20 seconds. It's no, bring the fight. He's probably going to shoot on you. If he does, you work from there. Make him work. It's no easy takedowns. He's on your legs. You make him work. If you're on the cage, you spread your legs as hard as you can. You expend as much energy of your own to make sure he's working that much harder. And if it does hit the ground, which I've seen DDP working on, get that thumb block in between you and him on his neck, and you're kicking up back to your feet and you're right in his face again. It's just you can't back up against a guy like Chimaev.
Meanwhile, as the experts comment on the possible courses of action that could be taken by the contenders of the UFC 319 match, both Khamzat and Dricus were seen facing each other in real life as they shook hands. That too, only a few days prior to their big day. The fighters were seen exchanging pleasantries, wishing each other well for the fight.
You too, and you too, man. Have a good weekend. See you on fight. It's going to be a good one. Let's do it.
Moreover, in his YouTube channel, Coach Zahabi shared his own expertise regarding the fight, claiming that both the fighters are among the UFC's best finishers he has ever seen. He claimed that even though Khamzat did not finish everybody, he has a tendency to absolutely annihilate his opponents. According to Zahabi, this is a fight where the win could be anyone's, one of the reasons why it is so exciting for the fans to witness.
These two guys are maybe the two best finishers in MMA history. DDP is finishing everybody. Khamzat's finishing almost everybody. He didn't finish Usman, didn't finish Gilbert Burns, but he's annihilating guys. Annihilation with strikes, with submissions. Both these men are like runaway trains. When it comes to finishing, they attack, they're relentless. Their records are spotless. I always love fights where I don't know what's gonna happen. I look at the blue corner, I'm like, that guy's a killer, he's gonna beat anybody. Then I look in the red corner, I'm like, wait a second, no, that guy's a killer and he can beat absolutely anybody. And this is one of those fights. I keep looking from one corner to the other, and I have no idea who's going to win this fight.
Furthermore, Steven and Joshua from the Orange Hat Creative YouTube channel analyzed the fighters and their skills and came to the conclusion, much like the others, that Dricus du Plessis is often underestimated by the other experts. According to them, DDP might have a messy style of fighting, but his single punch would be enough to rock a boat. Dylan Ray, who joined them in their conversation too, discussed how the messy style was just how South Africans fought.
You reckon that's what a lot of the fighters misunderstood about Dricus when they first came across him, like in a championship fight?
Well, like how hard he would hit.
Like, yes, he looks a bit weird and like his fight style is not
unorthodox.
Yeah, it's very weird, but then all of a sudden when he lands, it like really like rocks Oak's boat. Like
probably because they don't expect it. Because they don't expect it. Because he's not throwing from a traditional way.
Not unexplained, but like you don't know where it's coming from. Like the most I don't even think his brain copes like, I'm gonna punch from here now. I think he's like standing there and it's just random, like things just happen. Like
they've said it. He said it in the countdown show. It's like their style and their gym style, the South African fighting style, is literally throw caution to the wind and just you're in a fight. Technique, throw all that shit out the window. You and I are rolling, bro. That's about it.
As the big day draws closer, the predictions thrown out by experts and analysts alike grow wilder and wilder. While some claim that Dricus would prove to be undefeatable in this upcoming fight, others can't help but side with Chimaev after witnessing his prowess in real life. However, the reality would only reveal itself after the 16th of August, so let's wait and see what fate has in store for the fans and fighters alike. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with the predictions made by the UFC experts, or are your views different from theirs? If so, do not hesitate to let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button to stay updated on the latest UFC news. See you next time.